Hello there, my sleepy fellows. Tonight, let us journey into the heart of Middle-earth, a place where shadows whisper and light dances upon the mountains. Tonight, we step beyond the familiar peace of the Shire into a realm of bravery and wisdom. We'll follow the journey of Gandalf the Grey, the wise and steadfast wizard, as he faces one of Middle-earth's greatest terrors, the Balrog of Morgoth. This is a tale of unyielding bravery in the face of darkness, told with a softness that allows the beauty of the journey to unfold without haste. Imagine the depths of Khazad-dûm, the great halls of Moria, where echoes linger in the vast chambers and an ancient shadow stirs. We'll witness Gandalf's unwavering resolve as he faces this primeval creature, one born of fire and shadow. Yet, this tale is not of fear but of hope, resilience, and the quiet strength that endures even in the darkest moments. This is not a story of sharp battles or sudden thrills. Instead, it is a tale told gently, woven with care, to ease you into a world of wonder and enchantment. The Grey Wizard's steadfast courage and the ancient power of Middle-earth will unfold softly, guiding you through a world steeped in magic, history, and timeless resilience. If you enjoy these calming journeys through the world of Tolkien, I invite you to join our fellowship. Feel free to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and explore the many other tales that await you here. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let the soothing embrace of Middle-earth carry you toward peaceful dreams. Let the rhythm of the story guide you, and as the gentle cadence unfolds, allow yourself to drift closer to the peace of dreams. Gandalf, the wandering wizard, is a figure of quiet power and deep understanding. Clad in a weathered gray cloak, with his tall hat casting a shadow over piercing eyes, he carries the weight of ages and the secrets of the ancient world. His staff, carved from aged wood, is more than a walking aid. It is a vessel of light and willpower, a symbol of his enduring fight against darkness. In this tale, we find Gandalf as he journeys with the Fellowship of the Ring, guiding them through the dim and treacherous paths of Khazad-dûm, the once great dwarven kingdom known as Moria. The air within the halls is heavy, filled with the silence of ages past. The vast chambers and towering pillars are shrouded in shadow, and an ancient presence seems to linger in the dark corners, as though the mountain itself remembers all that has come to pass. It is within this labyrinth of stone and memory that Gandalf senses the stirrings of something long buried, a shadow older than men, elves, and dwarves. Though the others see only the immediate danger, Gandalf knows that a deeper mystery lies ahead. His gaze carries both the burden of knowledge and the quiet determination to face whatever darkness awaits. As we follow Gandalf's steps, the halls of Moria come alive in our minds. Imagine the soft glow of their torches, casting flickering patterns on walls etched with the craftsmanship of Durin's folk. The sound of footsteps echoes in the cavernous spaces, each step a gentle rhythm that lulls you deeper into the story. The journey begins with the quiet resolve of one who has faced countless trials and whose heart holds the light needed to guide the way forward. The Fellowship of the Ring moved cautiously through the vast halls of Moria, their footsteps echoing faintly against the towering stone walls. Gandalf led the way, his staff casting a gentle glow that illuminated the intricate carvings and dwarven craftsmanship. Every step brought a mix of awe and unease. The grandeur of the once thriving kingdom now lay under a heavy silence, as if the mountain itself mourned its lost glory. As they passed through the chamber of Mazarbul, Gandalf paused, his keen eyes scanning the room. Dust-covered remnants of books and tools were scattered across stone tables, a testament to a hasty abandonment. A faded map caught his attention, its markings hinting at deeper passages and forgotten vaults. But what troubled him most was the faint scorch marks on the walls, as though a great fire had raged through this sacred space. The group pressed on, descending deeper into the mountain's heart. The air grew colder, and an unnatural stillness settled over them. Frodo glanced nervously at Gandalf, who seemed lost in thought, his expression both calm and focused. He sensed it too, the faint rumble beneath their feet, like the slumbering breath of something vast and ancient. They reached a vast, echoing cavern with a chasm so deep that even Gandalf's light couldn't reach the bottom. A narrow stone bridge stretched across, treacherous and weathered by time. Gandalf stopped and raised his staff, the faint glow revealing carvings on the walls that spoke of Durin's Bane, a shadowy figure whispered in dwarven lore. His voice, calm but resolute, broke the silence. "We must tread carefully here," he said, his tone firm yet gentle, as though speaking to the mountain itself. "This is no ordinary darkness we face. It is a shadow older than we dare to remember, and its reach extends even now." The others followed closely, their breaths shallow, as if afraid to disturb the stillness. Strange whispers seemed to float in the air, faint and fleeting, as though the walls carried the voices of those long gone. Gandalf paused again, placing a hand on the cold stone. For a brief moment, he closed his eyes, as if listening to the mountain's secrets. "There is a presence here," he murmured, more to himself than the others. "Something stirs in the deep places, something we must be prepared to face." As they continued, Gandalf's guiding light offered a sense of comfort, even as the shadows around them deepened. The flickering torchlight danced across ancient runes and towering pillars, creating fleeting patterns that seemed almost alive. Each step was deliberate, the soft rhythm of their movement, a quiet counterpoint to the growing tension in the air. The mystery of Moria unfolded gently, its secrets lingering like whispers in the dark. Gandalf's calm resolve anchored the group, his presence a beacon of hope, even in the shadow of the unknown. With every turn, the mountain seemed to watch, holding its breath as the Fellowship ventured deeper into its long-forgotten depths. The Fellowship pressed on, their steps measured and cautious as they ventured deeper into the heart of Moria. Gandalf's staff illuminated the path ahead, its soft glow offering a fragile sanctuary against the encroaching darkness. The ancient halls stretched endlessly, their silence interrupted only by the occasional drip of water echoing through the stone corridors. In one of the lower chambers, they stumbled upon a grand doorway, its edges adorned with intricate carvings and faintly glowing runes. Gandalf paused before it, his expression turning contemplative. With gentle reverence, he traced the patterns with his fingers, whispering words in a tongue older than the common speech. Slowly, the door creaked open, revealing a chamber unlike anything they had encountered before. The room was vast, its walls etched with ancient dwarven craftsmanship, and at its center stood a pedestal. Resting upon it was an object that seemed to hold the room's very light, a crystal shard glowing with an ethereal brilliance that danced across the walls. The fellowship stood in awe, their breaths caught in their throats. Gandalf stepped forward, his eyes fixed on the shard. "A relic of great power," he murmured, his voice almost a whisper. "This is no ordinary creation. It bears the mark of an age long past, a time when light was crafted to hold back shadow." The shard's light seemed to react to Gandalf's presence, pulsing gently, as though recognizing him. He studied it closely, his expression a mix of wonder and concern. This must be the work of Durin's folk, forged in the days when their skill knew no bounds. But it was not meant to be found again, not like this. As Gandalf held the shard aloft, the room seemed to shift. Shadows along the walls stirred, their forms twisting and elongating, as though the light had awakened something slumbering within the mountain. The fellowship instinctively drew closer to Gandalf, seeking comfort in his steady presence. "What does it mean?" Frodo asked, his voice tinged with apprehension. Gandalf's gaze did not waver from the shard. "It means that we are not alone," he said quietly. "Something watches us from the deep. This shard may be the key to understanding the shadow that lies beneath these halls, but it has also drawn its attention." A faint tremor rippled through the chamber, the stone beneath their feet vibrating ever so slightly. Gandalf's voice remained calm, though his tone carried an unspoken urgency. "We must tread carefully now. The light of this relic is both a guide and a warning. It reveals much, but it also draws the gaze of those who dwell in shadow." The fellowship exchanged uneasy glances, their trust in Gandalf unshaken, but their apprehension growing. They left the chamber with the shard in hand, its light casting intricate patterns on the walls as they moved. The deeper they ventured, the more the air seemed to thicken, and the faint tremors became more pronounced. As they reached a narrow bridge, suspended over a bottomless chasm, Gandalf stopped and turned to the group. "The shadow we face is not merely a memory," he said, his voice resolute. "It is alive, waiting, and it knows we are here. But remember this, even in the deepest darkness, light can prevail." The shard pulsed gently in his hand, its glow unwavering against the surrounding void. The fellowship moved forward with renewed determination, their steps guided by Gandalf's light and his unwavering belief in their purpose. Unbeknownst to them, the shadow stirred in the depths, its awakening heralded by the glow of the ancient relic. The battle between light and darkness was drawing near, and the fellowship's journey had only just begun. As the fellowship pressed onward, the atmosphere of Moria grew heavier, each step laden with a sense of unease. The air turned colder, the silence deepened, and even the faint echoes of their movements seemed swallowed by the oppressive darkness. Yet, the shard in Gandalf's hand continued to glow, its light unwavering and warm, a small beacon against the encroaching shadows. Gandalf, ever the steady guide, began to speak as they traversed the labyrinth of stone. "This shard," he said, holding it up for the group to see, "was forged in a time when Middle-earth faced great darkness. The dwarves of old created it not just as a light, but as a guardian, a symbol of their defiance against shadow." His voice, calm and soothing, carried a weight of knowledge that both reassured and intrigued the fellowship. This relic was said to hold a fragment of the light of Valinor itself, captured and shaped by the skill of Durin's line. It was meant to seal the evil that stirred beneath the mountain, but as you can see, its task was left incomplete. The mention of Valinor stirred something in Legolas, who walked quietly beside Gandalf. "The light of the two trees," he murmured, his tone reverent. "Even the faintest fragment of it is enough to hold back the darkness. The dwarves were wise to use it, but such power does not go unnoticed." The group came upon a chamber where ancient carvings adorned the walls. The depictions told a tale of Moria's past, of its splendor, its people, and the relentless digging that unearthed not just riches, but something far more dangerous. Gandalf traced the carvings with his staff, their edges lighting up faintly as the relic in his hand seemed to awaken the dormant magic. "These walls," Gandalf mused, "speak of Durin's bane. The dwarves knew what they had unleashed, but they also hoped that their light would keep it sealed. They underestimated the shadow's resilience." As they rested briefly in the chamber, Sam, ever curious, asked, "Do you think the dwarves ever knew peace again after what happened?" Gandalf nodded solemnly. "In their hearts, perhaps, for the dwarves are a resilient people, but the scars of such a loss never fade entirely. That is why their craftsmanship often carries both beauty and melancholy, a reflection of what they have endured." Their journey led them to an ancient bridge, one of the last intact paths through the deep halls. Beneath it, an endless void stretched, the faint sound of water echoing from unseen depths. As the fellowship crossed, Frodo noticed faint whispers on the edge of his hearing, like voices carried by the wind. "Do you hear that?" he asked, his voice trembling slightly. Gandalf stopped and listened. "The echoes of Moria," he said softly. "The voices of those who once walked these halls linger here. They are not malevolent, but they remind us of the lives lost to the shadow." The group pressed on, their path winding through caverns that seemed to stretch infinitely in all directions. It was here that they encountered a figure they had not expected, a dwarven spirit, clad in ghostly armor, standing silently in the center of the hall. Its gaze was not hostile, but neither was it welcoming. Gimli stepped forward cautiously, his voice tinged with emotion. "A spirit of Durin's folk," he said quietly. "Perhaps one who fell defending these halls." Gandalf raised the shard, its light illuminating the spirit. The figure bowed its head slightly, acknowledging the relic. Gandalf spoke gently. his tone reverent. "Rest easy, old friend. We are here to honor your people's legacy and to continue the task you began." The spirit slowly faded, its form dissolving into light that seemed to merge with the glow of the shard. The fellowship stood in awe, the moment reinforcing their resolve to face whatever lay ahead. As they left the hall, the oppressive silence of Moria was briefly replaced by a sense of calm. The shard in Gandalf's hand pulsed softly, as if strengthened by the encounter. "Even in death," Gandalf said, his voice steady, "the dwarves of Moria guard their home. Their bravery endures, and it inspires us to carry the light forward." The fellowship continued their journey, the path ahead still fraught with danger, but their spirits bolstered by the knowledge that they were not alone. The shadow in the depths was waiting, but so too was the light they carried, a light that had already begun to weave threads of hope in the heart of the mountain. The fellowship's journey through Moria had been long and fraught with tension, but now they stood at the precipice of their greatest challenge. Before them loomed the final chamber, a cavern vast beyond measure, its walls lost in shadow. The faint glow of the shard in Gandalf's hand illuminated a path forward, casting shimmering patterns on the rough stone as if encouraging their every step. A low, guttural sound reverberated through the air, a forewarning of the ancient power they had come to face. "Durin's bane," Gandalf murmured, his voice a mixture of calm and resolve. "It stirs." The group paused at the edge of a massive chasm, its depths shrouded in darkness. Across the void, a broken bridge led to a dais carved from black stone. Upon the dais rested a towering door of intricate design, its surface engraved with runes that pulsed faintly, as though trying to hold something back. Gandalf stepped forward, the shard's light growing brighter with each step he took. "This is the heart of Moria," he said, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "The door was once sealed by the dwarves with the light of this shard, but time and shadow have weakened it. If we are to restore it, we must act quickly." The air grew heavier, charged with a palpable energy that seemed to emanate from the chasm itself. A flicker of flame appeared far below, growing brighter as it rose, accompanied by the sound of a deep, rumbling growl. The fellowship instinctively drew closer together, their eyes fixed on the fiery light that now illuminated the chamber. From the depths, a massive, shadowy form emerged, a creature of fire and darkness, its eyes glowing like molten lava. The Balrog, a remnant of a time long past, now stood before them, its presence a testament to the ancient evil that had plagued Moria. It raised its fiery whip, the air crackling with heat and malice. "Stay back," Gandalf commanded, his voice firm. He stepped onto the broken bridge, the shard in his hand blazing with a brilliant light that seemed to push back the Balrog's shadow. "This is not your time," he said, addressing the creature. "Return to the depths from which you came." The Balrog roared, its voice shaking the very stone around them. The shard's light flared in response, casting beams of pure brilliance that clashed with the Balrog's fire. Gandalf stood tall, his staff raised high, channeling the light of the shard into the runes on the distant door. The runes began to glow brighter, their ancient magic awakening as the shard's power flowed through them. The door shuddered, its surface pulsing with energy as the seal began to reform. But the Balrog, sensing its time was ending, lashed out with its whip, the fiery tendrils striking toward Gandalf. With a swift motion, Gandalf used his staff to deflect the attack, the light of the shard creating a shield that repelled the flames. "You shall not pass," he bellowed, his voice echoing through the chamber. The shard blazed like a miniature sun, its light piercing the darkness and forcing the Balrog to retreat, if only for a moment. The Fellowship watched in awe as Gandalf stood his ground, his determination unwavering. Frodo clutched the hilt of his sword, its blade faintly glowing in response to the shard's light, while Aragorn and Legolas prepared to act should the need arise. The Balrog's fiery eyes narrowed, and with a guttural roar, it surged forward, its whip lashing toward Gandalf like a serpent of flame. But the wizard stood firm. With a cry of defiance, he raised his staff high, its light bursting forth in a blinding arc. The force of the magic collided with the Balrog's whip, creating a brilliant explosion of sparks that lit the cavern like the dawn breaking through shadow. The bridge quaked violently as cracks began to spiderweb across its surface. "Fly, you fools!" Gandalf commanded, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. The Fellowship hesitated for only a moment before Aragorn took the lead, ushering them toward safety. Frodo lingered, his heart torn, but Aragorn's firm hand guided him away. As the last of the Fellowship reached the other side, Gandalf planted his staff against the stone and thrust his sword, Glamdring, into the heart of the Balrog's fiery chest. The beast staggered, its roar a mix of fury and pain. The cracks beneath its feet widened, and with a final heave, Gandalf shattered the bridge beneath them. The Balrog fell, its fiery form plummeting into the abyss, its whip snapping upward in one last act of defiance. The fiery tendril caught Gandalf's ankle, pulling him toward the edge. For a brief moment, time seemed to slow. Gandalf turned his gaze toward the Fellowship, his face calm and resolute, and then he was gone, falling into the depths alongside the Balrog. The Fellowship's cries echoed through the chamber, their despair palpable. Frodo's voice rose above the rest, a heart-wrenching plea that went unanswered. The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the faint rumble of the mountains settling around them. The battle did not end in the abyss. As Gandalf fell, the Balrog's fiery form lashed out in rage, but Gandalf's light did not falter. Their struggle continued in the darkness, a clash of ancient forces beyond mortal comprehension. Gandalf pursued the beast through shadow and flame, down through the deepest caverns of the world, to a place where time seemed to hold no meaning. In those depths, Gandalf's spirit was tested to its very limits. The light of his staff burned brightly, pushing back the encroaching shadow. Glamdring struck true time and again, each blow weakening the creature until, at last, its fire dimmed. With a final strike, Gandalf severed the Balrog's essence, banishing the ancient evil to the void. The cost of victory was great. Gandalf's form, exhausted and spent, lay upon the peak of Zirakzigil, the mountain above the dark depths of Khazad-dûm. The sky above was ablaze with stars, their light a gentle balm to his weary soul. The Valor, the guardians of Middle-earth, looked upon him with favor, and in that moment Gandalf the Grey passed beyond the world of the living. But it was not the end. In the ethereal realm of Valinor, Gandalf's spirit was renewed. The Valor bestowed upon him a new mantle, a greater purpose. He returned to Middle-earth not as Gandalf the Grey, but as Gandalf the White, a beacon of hope and strength for the battles yet to come. When he rejoined the Fellowship, their grief turned to awe and relief. Frodo looked upon him with tearful eyes, the burden of his journey momentarily lifted by Gandalf's presence. Aragorn bowed his head in respect, and even Gimli, the proud dwarf, was moved to silence. Gandalf's battle with the Balrog became a legend, a tale of sacrifice, courage, and the unyielding power of light over darkness. It was a reminder to all who heard it that even in the face of overwhelming shadow, hope could rise anew. The echoes of Gandalf's battle with the Balrog reverberated not only through the halls of Khazad-dûm, but through the hearts of those who knew him. As the Fellowship ventured forward, they carried with them the weight of his sacrifice and the memory of his unwavering resolve. The journey was fraught with peril, yet even in the darkest moments, the thought of Gandalf's light guided their steps. In the Shire, far from the mountains and the shadows of Mordor, life continued in its tranquil rhythm. The rolling hills and whispering woods stood as a quiet contrast to the tumult of the wider world. Samwise often dreamed of the Shire, its golden fields bathed in the soft light of dusk, a place where he and Frodo could one day return to find peace. Yet, for now, their path stretched ever onward. Frodo, weary from the burden of the One Ring, found solace in the memories of Gandalf's wisdom. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given us, the wizard had once said, and those words rang true in Frodo's heart as he steeled himself for the trials to come. When Gandalf returned, transformed into the White Wizard, it was as though the very fabric of hope had been rewoven into the Fellowship's journey. His presence brought an unspoken reassurance, a quiet reminder that even the mightiest darkness could not extinguish the light forever. Sitting beside a campfire, under the starlit skies of Middle-earth, Gandalf shared stories of his journey beyond the mortal plane, his voice soothing and melodic. He spoke not of triumph, but of renewal, of how the fires of challenge could forge something stronger, more enduring. The Fellowship listened in rapt silence, their hearts bolstered by his presence. As the tale of the Balrog and the Grey Wizard's transformation spread across Middle-earth, it became a legend of resilience and hope. From the Shire to the halls of Minas Tirith, songs were sung and stories shared, each word a tribute to the light that could never be vanquished. And now, my sleepy fellows, as the embers of this tale flicker softly in your mind, let its warmth guide you into restful slumber. Close your eyes and imagine the glow of a Shire sunset, the laughter of hobbits in the distance, and the steady, comforting presence of Gandalf walking quietly along the path. The world of Middle-earth holds many stories, each filled with wonder and quiet wisdom, ready to unfold when the time is right. Rest now, and let the stars of Middle-earth watch over your dreams. May the light of Gandalf's journey bring you peace, and may you wake with the strength to face your own paths with courage and hope. Good night, my quest fellows, and may your dreams carry you to the realms of wonder and serenity.